Ladies and gentlemen, the special council meeting will be starting at 5 o'clock, so you've got a few minutes to either take a little break, the toilets are down the side there if you need them, or grab some water. We'll be back here at 5 o'clock to start the special council meeting. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to open my first and this special council meeting today. The City of Busselton welcomes councillors, staff, guests, members of the public to this special council meeting of the 25th of October 23. The City of Busselton acknowledges the Wardandi and Bibleman people as the traditional custodians of this region and pay their respects to elders past and present. Just so you know, this meeting will be audio recorded, and I believe we're online, is that correct? Yeah, we're live streamed for minute-taking purposes, and will be live streamed as well for the City of Bus, and will be available on the City of Busselton YouTube channel. Yes, I'm a little nervous. Item 2, and also I would like to welcome all the friends and families of those, I assume, councillors that have been elected today or re-elected. So thank you very much for your attendance. It's greatly appreciated. Item 2 is attendance, and I see that we have a full attendance of councillors, so thank you all for turning up. That's a good start. So that's good. Item 3 is the purpose of this meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, today this meeting is for the election of the Deputy Mayor of the City of Busselton. It's also for appointing the elected members to the committees established in accordance with Section 5.8 of the Local Government Act 1995 and appointing these elected members to the working groups and as delegates to external groups where the city representation is required. Item 4, we move straight in, is to the election of the Deputy Mayor. Now, allocation of seats first. I've got.
Election of Deputy Mayor first.
I'll stick with mine. Okay, so the election of Deputy Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been advised by the CEO that he has received the following nominations for the positions of Deputy Mayor. I can say councillor now, can't I? Yes, so Councillor Sue Riccelli, Councillor Jodie Richards, and Councillor Anne Ryan. Can I please confirm these nominations still stand? Thank you. Do I have any other nominations before I close the call for nominations? No, Mr. Carter. Okay, with nominations closed, I will now provide each candidate with 5 minutes to present their case for being Deputy Mayor. Thank you. And the order will be in order of nomination, I believe? That's the order of the time. Yeah, nomination. So first up, Councillor Sue Riccelli. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. As most of you have listened to my spiel several times over the last few weeks, I'll try not to bore you with too many of my background details, but rather advise why I believe I can do this role justice. The main difference between the Deputy Mayor role and the Councillor role is that the Deputy is expected to provide leadership to both Council and the community. The Deputy needs to step up as a mentor, particularly to new councillors, and assist their transition into this brave new world. The Deputy needs to role model sound decision-making processes that display independent, critical thinking that has been informed by all sides. Decision-making that is not predetermined or set in stone and involves the ability to listen to other councillors' point of view when debating. As you know, I have spent a lifetime in the community services industry. When our previous Mayor, Grant Henley, gave his farewell speech, he talked about how proud he felt of a lifetime dedicated to the community, and that really struck a chord with me. It's not something that you think about on a daily basis, you just get on with the job. It is often a thankless role, and I've been abused more times than I can count as a police officer, and seen more heartache than I have ever wanted to see in both roles. However, it forms who you are, and it's why I put my hand up for the role of councillor, for the role of mayor, and now as deputy. My combination of 15 years in the police force and 16 years in the parenting family support industry has given me the unique combination of strong leadership skills alongside the ability to empathise. Two critical qualities that are needed in this role. The Deputy Mayor will be required to chair meetings as well as speak publicly at events. I'm the only councillor that actually has the qualification behind them for facilitation and public speaking. I have a Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment. This certificate is a legal requirement for anyone that teaches at a university or TAFE or in any respected public speaking role. I currently still chair 2 major interagency meetings in the Southwest and the White Ribbon Committee, which is an initiative behind the prevention of family and domestic violence. I regularly run various workshops in my industry and attend as a guest speaker for many events. One thing that I will be suggesting, if elected to deputy, is to allow all councillors more time to represent the city at events. While our previous mayor was outstanding in this role, I don't believe that enough space and time was provided for the rest of the council to fully represent their community. You are all voted in by the community. Therefore, the community should be allowed the chance to get to know you. This helps with their decision-making process when it comes time for re-election. I will be suggesting a roster system is created whereby councillors choose perhaps 3 times 2-week time slots throughout the year to be the face of council at community events. This will allow you to be seen and heard, not just sit inside chambers all the time. And I would love the opportunity to work with you all on this concept moving forwards. The deputy should be able to demonstrate an understanding of policy, governance and legislation and an ability to think strategically. My previous role was as a Senior Practice Development Officer for Parenting WA, which was part of the Department of Communities, where I was responsible for a team of 9 staff and not only in charge of the staff's training and practice, but responsible for all policy writing and governance. I've been in the councillor role for 4 years. I've been tried and tested and re-elected, which I believe is a testament to my ability to perform the role well. I deliberately chose not to put my hand up for deputy 2 years ago because I felt I didn't have the necessary experience at that time. With respect to the other 2 candidates, they have only been in the role for 2 years. And while Councillor Ryan has had previous experience, it was a long time ago and many things have changed. I believe I've demonstrated my dedication to the councillor role through many of the important alternative motions I have put through around key issues. It is time to step up, and I would love nothing more than to help this new council be the best it can be. I believe that I have the right skill set to do this, and I'm seeking your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Riccelli. Next up, we have Councillor Jodie Richards. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. I won't take 5 minutes because, as Sue said, most of you have heard my spiel and have listened to it over the last couple of months of campaigning. What I will say is, having served in leadership roles for most of my adult life in the WA Ambulance Service, on various boards and CEO of various organisations, and studied my MBA in leadership at CQ University, I believe that I have the skills, knowledge and experience to be the deputy to our newly elected Mayor, Phil Cronin. And I met with Phil yesterday to say to him that I was going to nominate for deputy. It's an exciting time in council and we've got some challenges ahead, but as a cohesive, collaborative unit, we can achieve great things. I bring with me warmth, humour, empathy and resilience in spades, and a deep respect for the office of councillor, for deputy mayor and mayor. And I ask for your consideration voting for me as deputy mayor of the city of Busselton. I believe empowering others in leadership roles and nurturing those who aspire to come into community leadership roles and making sure we recognise and welcome them, including our new councillors. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. And finally, the last candidate, Councillor Anne Ryan.
Thank you. Councillors, congratulations on your appointment and reappointment to this office. Whilst the newly elected members will feel a little or even a lot daunted, remember we were all in your position previously. If you, like me, whether newly elected or re-elected, believe that the position of councillor is one of the great privileges and your role is to serve the community, then that community should be honoured to have you. The onus is now on you to vote for who you believe will make the best Deputy Mayor for the next 2 years, and you have a wide array of individuals to choose from with differing skill sets, and I ask for your vote to select me. Whilst I was unsuccessful in attaining the mayoral position, I now seek the important role of Deputy Mayor. Now, with 7.5 years of experience under my belt in local government, I believe I have the skills, knowledge and strength to undertake the role as I previously did in 2009, to not only serve the community, but also you and the local government with drive, determination and conviction. This council role for me is a full-time position, other than Thursdays when I look after Ernie. Having said that, he has been to a few meetings and he's only 3, so we have an upcoming councillor on our hands, I think. During the election and prior, I was bombarded with commentary from ratepayers and community members on our performance. And I say our performance because anything that happens in this house is a reflection on you and I as councillors. We must be a can-do council. We must reduce red tape and bureaucracy, and we must start re-engaging with the community and do better. I'm sure we all have ideas we can collaboratively bring to the table, and to do that we must work together and instill greater confidence in the community we serve and deliver greater results. The Local Government Act states we represent the interests of electors, ratepayers and residents of the city, provide leadership and guidance to the community, facilitate communication between community and the council, participate in decision-making processes at council and committee meetings, and perform such other functions that are given to a councillor by the Act or any other written law. And individually, councillors have the responsibility to act as a conduit between the community and the city. Not only must we represent the interests of the broader community on the council, but also the community leaders. We must represent the interests of the city within the broader community as well. To that end, I have made it my goal as an elected member to serve my community, to uphold those values enshrined in law, together with morals and ethics required, along with a good dose of honest debate, common sense, and questioning when issues are raised, whether in the chamber or otherwise. Councillors, I respectfully ask for you to vote for me as your Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Okay, we'll now undertake the vote. Ballot slips will be distributed to the candidates listed in the order of the recipient, the receipt of nominations as determined by the CEO that I've highlighted already. Can each member please move as called upon to the polling table, vote in order of your preference for the choice of Deputy Mayor. You can number one box or more than one box in order of your preference. Is that all clear? So you can go 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's your choice. Okay, is that correct? Then the governance staff will then tally the votes, including the allocation of preferences. While we undertake this process and the allocation of seating and the voting process for the committee and working groups, I recommend that we suspend standing orders. Do I have a mover for the following motion? And just wait for it. So it is to suspend standing orders for the following parts of the meeting: the Deputy Mayor election process, the allocation of seating, and the committee and working group election process. So we will suspend just for that, and once that is completed, we will automatically go back into the meeting, so I don't need to close and reopen it, okay? Call for a mover. I believe we've got a Councillor Love there. a motion, and do we have a second? Jody, Councillor Richards. Okay. All in favour? Any dissent? Sorry, but no. All in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you very much. Standing orders are now suspended. Do we still record, or is the recording stopped?
Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, what we
It's
might
not
do
closed, Joe, so you can keep recording.
you can keep
Keep
recording.
recording, the meeting's still open.
So, in order for the obviously ballots are done by secret ballot. So I think we might go around the room, Mr. Mayor. We'll start perhaps with Councillor McNish and work our way around the room. So you can head up to the
So we can
ballot
go
box.
that way.
Mr. Whitehill's just shown that there's nothing.
Nothing in the box?
Nothing in the box.
It's a magic trick.
Watch you pull a
He's
rabbit
going to
out
get
of
the
my-
saw out in a minute.
And we will get people up one at a time. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so we'll just go one at a time. Please fill in, and then...
Just to let you know, we'll now tally the votes. We'll now tally the votes.
All the votes are in and they'll now be tallied. It's like we haven't had enough of this.
These are designated seats, like stuck at school, 2 years, get told off if you go in the wrong spot. 2 years, you do 2 years. And I even got a uniform update after here. I want to sit in blazer, thank you very much.
How was the school graduation? With your little sister there?
So excited.
It must be so
I'm actually
cool.
going to post it on my page. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm proud to have done it.
She must have been so chuffed to have you there.
Yeah, because I sat right at the front, so when she came up, I was and all these people, officials sitting next to me because I was taking photos of not only Denise but all her friends. And I'm like, I'm so weirdo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce and congratulate Councillor Ryan, who has been elected as Deputy Mayor, with the final votes of 5 after the allocation of preferential voting. With the preferential votes going 4 to Councillor Riccelli, 1 to Councillor Richards and 4 to Councillor Ryan, with preferential going, the final rolls being yes, 4 to Councillor Riccelli, 0 to Councillor Jodie Richards and 5 to Councillor Anne Ryan. So congratulations, Anne. We'll drink some delegate. I'll now, we'll do the declaration with Kelly Hick, if she can please come up.
Yeah, maybe in the
I'll get out of the way. Yep.
I, Andorn Ryan of 38 Sickle Drive, Vass, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the City of Busselton, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district, according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Busselton under Section 4.104 of the Local Government Act 1995. Thank you.
Okay, so the declaration of the Deputy Mayor has been completed. We move on to the exciting one, which is the allocation of seating. Yes.
Here's your home for 2 years.
We now move to the allocation of seats in accordance with Clause 8.1 of the Standing Orders. I'll hand over to the CEO to undertake this process. Thank you, Tony.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, this is an exciting process. This will be your home for 2 years, councillors. I do have, so under Standing Orders 8.1.1, I have a request from the Mayor to apply the Deputy Mayor position to seat number 1. So seat number 1 will be the Deputy Mayor position to assist with running of the meetings and also being able to take the chair when required, and also seat number 4 will be allocated to Mr McNish due to other circumstances as well. So we've already got those in there. We will then go through the process of pulling out the names from the Ben's magic box again and allocate the numbers. So the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 around the room. So you're all good where you are. You need a 5-cent piece.
Seat number 2 is Jodie Richards, Councillor Richards.
Need to swap? Yes.
You've got a special spot. That's all right.
Just wait, just wait.
Number 3 is Councillor Williams.
Bit of a shuffle.
Seat 4 will be Andrew Nish, as outlined by the CEO. Seat 5 will be Councillor Love.
It's a good spot.
Seat 6 will be Councillor Cox. Seat 7 will be Councillor Kennedy. And seat 8 will be Councillor Kelly.
Chair. After 3, 1, 2, 3, go! So if you take your new seats, and then somebody will be busy allocating your numbers. Okay, so when have we got, what item is this? Because these numbers are all complete.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with mine either. So we're now up to committees and working groups. So
See, that's just
have you
separate.
got, what have you got on your thing for committee?
So what we'll do is
we've
we're
done
just
that
going to
one.
work down. Joe's going to put that in.
Okay. So now we're going to go through, we'll focus to the committees. And the first part of the offer recommendation is to follow that the committees have equal nominations to each of those positions. If that's not the case, then I believe we go to ballot again. So unless anyone wants to put their hand up and step back or change.
And Mr Mayor, the ballot will be done by first past the post rather than
Okay.
preferential.
So
Yep.
first past the post, you put down who you want to be on that committee. Is that correct? Yep. Sure. Okay.
So do you want us to explain the committees that have
Yeah, if you
the
could,
right
Sarah,
number?
thank you.
Yeah. So the committees that so far, based on the nominations on the board, that have the correct number or the same number of nominations as there are positions on the committee are, working groups. So the Saltwater Working Group currently has 2 elected members and 1 deputy, and that's the number of nominations currently for Saltwater. So unless there is anyone else who would like to nominate for Saltwater Working Group, we will call that one as being sorted. The Economic Development Advisory Group currently has nominations for 3 elected members and 1 deputy. So again, unless there's any more nominations, we'll put that one as sorted. The Regional Road Group currently has a nomination of 1 elected member and 1 deputy. So again, unless there are nominations, that one is organised. Development Assessment Panel, we have 2 elected members who have nominated for the Development Assessment Panel, only 1 deputy. So we would need 1 more deputy for the Development Assessment Panel. Oh, for Development Assessment Panel, Mackay? Oh, okay.
So
Development
JDA.
Assessment Panel, we would need 1 more. Yep, Councillor Richards is happy to be the other deputy. So that one is organised. So those ones, if everyone's happy with those ones, we won't sort of go through a balloting process for those. If we then go back to the committees, we do need... So at this point, we will be having a ballot for Audit and Risk Committee, where we have a number of nominations. Finance Committee, we do need 1 more person to nominate for that committee to have our 5, and then by default the other 4 members would become the deputies. Policy and Legislation Committee, again we need 1 more nomination for that to make up our 5, and then again by default the others will become the deputies. The CEO Performance Review Committee, we need a deputy for that. So perhaps if we start with those 3 that we don't have enough membership for, and is there anyone who would like to nominate for Finance or Policy and Legislation that has not yet done so? P&L. Okay, so with that, if we don't have any more nominations for P&L, I think that one is organised. So we'll... for Finance, do we have anyone who would like to put their hand up for Finance as a member? Come on, Finance is fun. We will need another member in order to form the committee in accordance with its terms of reference. Councillor Richards, okay, so perhaps if we just...
Councillor Richards, a break? It's not that bad. No? All right.
Training and
It's okay.
With all remaining councillors being the 4 deputies, would anyone like to be first deputy? In particular for Finance?
Oh, I guess I can be first deputy.
Councillor Love will be first deputy. Second deputy, we do call on you in order of deputy.
It's unlikely to happen. No, it doesn't.
Second Deputy for Finance. So for audit and risk, I'll yell out who we have, but we have at the moment Mayor Cronin, who as Mayor has nominated and will be placed on the committee. We then have another 3 members that can be allocated to that committee. What we're asking you to do is on your ballot slip, you have a spot to write down 3 people. You write down the 3 people that you think should be on that committee along with Mayor Cronin. We will then tally up those votes, and the people with the highest 3 votes will be the people for that committee. Okay. After tallying the votes, we have Councillor McNish, Councillor Riccelli and Councillor Woodhams, all with 5 votes to fill the 3 members' positions. Councillor Cox, Councillor Love and Councillor Ryan all had 4 votes. There are 2 deputy positions. Our recommendation is that we draw out of the balls for the 2 deputy positions unless someone would like to drop. Yep, okay, so Councillor Cox will come off the deputy, so that makes the 2 deputies, Councillor Love and Councillor Ryan. In terms of order of deputisation, unless anyone would like to nominate themselves for second deputy rather than first, we would do that through the balls.
So you're suggesting Bailey comes first, second, or me come first? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, you both had equal votes, so yes, first deputy or second deputy, we'd need to draw that out of the ball unless one of you was willing to be first or second.
Michaela, I'd like to be first if I can, but it's completely up to you.
I would like to give order and risk a go, and I would like to be first as well.
Okay.
So I'm happy for that to go to a ballot.
Yep, okay, we'll draw that out of the balls. So first deputy is Councillor Love, second deputy, Councillor Ryan.
Could the members on the bushfire notice continue, as we're already more than halfway through the process?
Sort of established.
You sure?
Wasn't it from memory?
Look, I might happily step off after we've completed the bushfire notice, but that would be nice to keep that continuity with myself and Councillor Cox. So,
Mr Mayor, just from memory, the bushfire notice one was established under a decision of council, so that's probably okay for my understanding is it'd be okay for those members to continue on the bushfire notice working group.
I guess if Councillor Riccelli was happy to step off, then you have 1 elected member, 1 deputy, Councillor Crone, Councillor Cox would fill those positions and continue on. So you won't need to do a ballot.
okay.
As long as one of you is happy to be deputy and one of you is happy to be the member.
Are you happy with that? Yeah, thank you.
Deputy, so member Councillor Crone, or Mayor Cronin, sorry.
Thank you.
And deputy Councillor Cox.
Yep.
So that, we just now need a ballot for the deputy of the Local Emergency Management Committee. So first time around, we'll do the vote process, and if it's drawn, we'll do the.
Because you've got mayor,
We've got more members of deputy though than we have.
just got councillor Richards, because deputy mayor and deputy mayor are automatically, and one deputy member.
Oh, sorry,
Richards.
sorry,
So we're
my
okay
fault.
there.
Yep, sorry.
that's all good.
Don't have to do that one. Sorry, getting excited.
I think we're nearly there for the people in the gallery. It's always the fun part.
Okay, so, sorry, it's a long drawn out process.
just to let you know, we've still got 9 to go, but we won't have to go to vote for all of them, I believe, so.
Board member. We have councillor Cronin and councillor Ryan who have nominated for that.
Yeah, I did speak earlier with...
And sorry, councillor Kelly as well.
Yeah, I did speak earlier with Lisa Shreve, and she thought it was going to be the mayor and did request that, if possible, it could remain as the mayor. But unless there's any objections to that.
Councillor Ryan?
I didn't think we get to choose. I thought they were the one that invited us.
Yeah.
Depends on their, I don't know what's in their constitution.
Wasn't that in that last item 4?
It was an elected member.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if they would prefer the mayor and everyone's.
That's what Lisa's asked for, but
You've got to wait for the invitation, don't you? As I say, you can't make somebody do
yeah.
something they don't want to do.
So we'll, yeah, Mayor Cronin. Okay, Joe, do you just want to put everything up on the screen and make sure that we have it correct before we start with the back in standing orders?
If you can all please pay attention, so.
So, we in the minutes you'll have council. So we had audit and risk, we have Mayor Cronin, Councillor Michelli, Councillor Woodhams, Councillor McNish, and the two deputies, Councillor Love, Councillor Ryan. I don't need to read it, you can read it on the screen. Everyone happy?
Just press the button.
Oh.
Councillor.
Was that
that's
press the
it.
button? Yeah, can I didn't nominate for the Behaviour Complaints Committee, yet I see my name there. So I wish to remove my name from that because I don't believe that committee should exist. And the whole council is convened with mayor and 8 councillors. And so if that committee, or if there's a matter that needed to be considered by such a committee, that can be considered at a council meeting at the end of it. So that is a superfluous committee that does not need to occur, and I won't be supporting it, and I didn't nominate for it, so my name needs to be taken off that. And I suggest everyone's name should be taken off it, and it just lay fallow, because it can be dealt with by the council.
Through the chair, look, certainly there are other ways in which behaviour complaints can be dealt with, certainly, and having them come straight to council is an option that the council could consider. Currently, however, the council has endorsed a behaviour complaints committee in order to deal with its behaviour complaints, and that committee, under its terms of reference, has all councillors and the mayor as members. And hence that's why I guess you've been put on that committee. There would obviously be scope for council to reconsider the way it deals with behaviour complaints. If you'd like to do that, we can certainly have that conversation.
Well, I'm glad because, I made a statement in the press, for want of a better terminology, that I wouldn't be bullied by the status quo. And, I wasn't part of that, setting up that committee. I don't know why it was set up. It seems superfluous to
Councillor
me.
McNish,
And that
please.
was
But
sorry,
this-
I'm redirecting my comments to you, sir.
Yeah.
Is that what you prefer?
Well, I'm just saying I don't think this is a time to be discussing on this issue when it's been clearly stated by Ms Pearson that this is currently the status quo and that you have the opportunity to talk about it. We're not getting into debate at this stage.
Well, I don't want to debate. I just want to inform you, sir,
You've
that
made
I
it
will
clear
not,
and-
my name needs to come off because I did not nominate for this committee and I cannot be forced to nominate for it.
Okay. Noted, but we will deal with this at a later date. Thank you.
Well, don't take the resolution to endorse the committee with my name on that committee because it's not appropriate. I can't be forced to be put on a committee.
If that is the case, then I suppose the committee doesn't have the members, so the quorum will still remain at 5, I would imagine.
Yeah, so that's right. So the terms of reference has as its membership 9 members. If Councillor McNish is not appointed to that committee, then we would have 8 members. We would still have a quorum for the committee when the committee was to meet. So I guess that's a decision that will need to be made as to whether we only appoint 8.
I would rather choose we review this at a later date, bring this up to council, but you're saying you won't. So basically,
And I suggest that the whole committee just lay fallow. It doesn't need to be dealt with now and it just doesn't get adopted.
Mr
Councillor
Mayor,
Ryan.
I'd also like to say that I would like to be taken off the Complaints and Behaviour Committee because under 5.10.2, it is my right to nominate the committee that I want to be on, and I want to be on the Audit and Risk Committee. It's the only one committee that I want to be on.
Yeah, that's correct.
From a,
Councillor Ryan, I suppose it's, was looking at the Behaviour Complaints Committee would be one that would be a committee everybody was on based on the policy and the processes that we developed over the last couple of years.
it is a previous council decision to have a behaviours complaints committee. So I guess at an officer level, we're not in a position to not have that committee. It is a previous council decision to have a committee. So we do need to have a behaviour complaints committee until council make a decision otherwise. The purpose of this meeting is to appoint members to committees. I think it would be going against the terms of reference to not appoint all members to the committee.
And the council policy as well.
I guess you have the option, Mr McNeish, to vote against the motion.
Well, as long as the motion is put without my name on the committee, that's fine, because I just can't be forced by the council to nominate for a particular committee.
Through the chair, while you can't be forced to nominate, the appointment of members to the committee is by the local government, i.e. it is by the council, so the council can still appoint members to the committee regardless of your nomination.
Thank you.
So you're attempting to force me onto a committee I don't want to be on?
The council, not myself, but the council may vote you onto that committee, yes.
Well, that's a bit cool.
If that's all, we'll continue.
Yeah, I'd suggest that, Mr Mayor. I think maybe this is something that we can probably raise in future meetings for a discussion and whether it can be reviewed moving forward.
Well, then let the committee lay fallow and be dealt with in a month, when we can do the research and get some ruling on it. It doesn't have to be filled tonight. In fact, there is a clause in the standing orders, if I recall, that you can adopt a committee with the names of the people on the committee or the positions of the people on the committee, and you can just adopt a committee with the position of councillor as to be resolved in future.
So council has already done that. They have adopted a terms of reference to establish a committee with all councillors on it.
Yeah, my point initially being that this council has not done that.
No, but the previous council has, and that is a council resolution.
Previous councils make decisions on lots of things, and I appreciate this is your first meeting, but these decisions have been made before, and I will move to
But I cannot
carry
be
on.
forced to nominate.
Thank you. Okay. So, with the election process complete, we will resume the standing orders, which were suspended as per the motion until the conclusion of the voting process. Moving on, item 7, disclosures of interest. I've had no disclosures of interest. If that be the case, I'll move on to item 8, which is now public question time. Are there any members of the public who would like to ask a question, noting that the questions need to relate to the purpose of this meeting today? If there are none, I will move on. We have a question, Councillor Carter. From Paul Carter.
How do you use these things? Sorry,
Ms Carter, you have 5
Paul Carter, 21 Thomas Street, Busselton.
Thank
Do you need to move that all those committees need to be accepted and then have a seconder?
Oh,
We've gone back into the...
we've just opened up we've gone back into suspended.
Oh, okay.
Then we'll go through the process, disorder, and then item 9.1 is about now moving that motion.
All right, so do I have a question? No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr Carter. Being no other questions, I would like to move on to agenda item 9.1. Councillors, we've undertaken the election process for the committees and the working groups, part 1 of the recommendations in the relation to these committees. So therefore, do I have a mover for the motion as displayed on the screen for this motion. Thank you, Councillor Richards. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Love. Is there any objections?
Can I just ask a question then? Is that with our names removed from the behaviour and complaints?
I don't believe so, Councillor Ryan, no.
No, if you object to that, you'll need to foreshadow an alternative, Councillor Ryan, and then if the officer recommendation is lost, then you'll get to move your alternative.
Or just vote against?
Or you could vote against, yes.
Is there any objection? Okay, therefore I will. Sorry? Yeah, so we'll move into debate. Councillor Jodie Richards, you move the motion, you have the right to talk, to speak to the motion.
Thank you. The reason I'm happy to move the motion is that it is a decision of previous council, and that has been accepted, and that with this new council, we can change that in due course. So I'm happy to go ahead with it as it is, and I do understand Mr McNish and also Councillor Ryan, their views, but it's a decision that was made in good conscience, and that you know, everyone here is going to have a chance to have a discussion about that, whether we want to keep it or not.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. Seconder is Councillor Love. Would you like your right to reply?
I'm happy to second this motion, as I believe that we need the members to finish electing to finish putting the committees together. And while I understand Councillor McNish's and Councillor Ryan's views, I agree with Councillor Richards that we can do some briefings, put it through a council meeting, change the terms of reference if this council so pleases, but it is a council decision, and just because a council's changed doesn't mean that we can make changes 100%. We've got a new council, but there is still procedures in how that needs to be done. So we need to at least get that up onto the council agenda. If there's any queries or concerns, do some briefings. If we want to make changes, change the terms of reference, put it through council, then it'll be this council's decision and we can go on forward. But we do need members and we need to finish this. So thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a speaker against? Mr McNish? Councillor McNish?
I feel it is a sad day when a former council can force a new councillor to be on a committee that they don't want to be on. That just seems strange to me. When the opportunity exists for this committee's function to occur quite easily under this gathering. So I'm not aware of why a particular committee was set up, but I can probably guess that it had unusual circumstances because it seems to be an unusual committee. For mine, it would be appropriate, and I foreshadow, that this committee simply lay fallow. I'll use that expression. It could be used in the future as is, just as a field is laying fallow, or it might not be ploughed at all. And we can do some research into particularly the ability of a council to appoint without nomination, which is my point. I don't want to be bullied by the status quo of what is, and there's no need to do that here because the committee can simply lie fallow as is, in name only, unfilled, and move on and be dealt with in a month's time when new councillors have had a chance more than 24 hours to become aware of the purpose of committees, the whole governance structure, voting and everything else that's been pretty well forced on them in 24 hours notice, which is unfair, but you know, that's the system and it should change. So no need to rush, nothing's going to be dealt with, no loss, give it over for a month. So I foreshadow that everything else be adopted, but this committee just lay as is, unfilled, to be dealt with at a future date. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your foreshadowed motion. We'll continue debate at this point. Thank you, Councillor Mish. Do I have a speaker for? Councillor Riccelli.
Yes, this officer recommendation has my full support, and I find it extremely concerning that there are allegations of bullying, which I clearly haven't seen any of that at this meeting, that those allegations are put forward and accusations. I find that extremely concerning and a very sad day indeed. I agree with that. Very sad. At our first meeting. Has my full support.
Thank you, Councillor Riccelli. Do I have a mover against?
Speaker against.
Speaker against. Right.
I just want to refer you to 5.92, 5.10(2) of the Act, which states that a councillor need only be on one committee and can nominate themselves for that committee. And once again, I'd like to be on the Audit Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Do I have a speaker against? Sorry, speaker for. Thank you, Councillor Cox.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I find this quite interesting. I commend this resolution to the council, and I think you'll find that the previous resolution of council that was carried was potentially carried 9-0 for the Behaviour Complaints Committee. I find it interesting that a new councillor has jumped onto council, is not really willing to be on any committees, which are a primary function of a council. When I first came to council 4 years ago, I jumped on a number of committees because I wanted to learn everything I could about local government. I've also done my diploma of local government because I am committed to this role. But I sit here and I see other councillors in this chamber saying that they're not willing to be on any committees because they don't want to do the work. All right, so the rest of us will do the work. That's okay. And I concur with Councillor Riccelli. Bullying in the chamber, we've been here for 5 minutes, and that is setting a really disturbing tone for how we are going to move forward. And frankly, I'm really, really disappointed. And I would commend this recommendation to councillors. Please consider it carefully, because the Behaviour Complaints Committee resolution previously went through unanimously, and now we have people voting and considering other options. Very, very interesting. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. Do I have a speaker against? Speaker for? I'll speak for two. I do concur, and it is a shame on this first meeting that we find ourselves in a situation where people are ready to wait to a time rather than before speaking up before. This, as Councillor Cox said, has gone through 9-0. It was talked. The council's been running quite well, and to say there is bullying and to use words like that in this council, in this chambers, is quite disappointing. So I would press that all councillors vote for this motion. Thank you. Sorry, speaker against, speaker for? If not, Councillor Love's already spoken. Sorry. Councillor Richards, you have the right to reply. Thank you, Councillor Richards. Okay, in that case, I put forward the motion as on the screen for item 99.1. All those in favour? All those against? Motion carried 7-2. Thank you. Okay, item 10 is, I think, close of business. Ladies and gentlemen, I will close the meeting at 6:30, and thank you very much for your time, and I believe there may be drinks and nibbles, is that correct? Afterwards, so we'd love you to join us out in the Councillors' Lounge. Thank you very much.